Hey everyone, welcome to All About the Joy. This is Culture and Consequence with Carmen and Andrea. Put my glasses away. Hey, what's up, Andrea? How you doing?
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. Okay, I just want you to know, no one else will understand why I'm saying this, but you will. I slept 8 hours last night.
Woo!
Oh my God. And here's
Wow.
the thing. I'm so excited because I've been working on my sleep situation, and I realize since I've shared that, I'll just tell everyone, I usually sleep 3 to 4 hours a night, and that has been my entire life. And it became a much bigger problem it's always been a problem, but it's like any noise. I hear it, I get up. And all the white noise, all the put the fan and whatever, none of that ever works because it makes me even more like I can't really hear, so I have to stay awake.
You're vigilant.
Yeah, totally vigilant. So I had to deal with it because after my surgery, I just couldn't get back to working out because I had no energy. And it's like that weird cycle. And so yeah, I've been working on my sleep, and I've been sleeping 6 hours a night, kind of consistently. Consistently means 3 nights in a row. That's what that means. And then last night, I woke up this morning. I'm like, Andrea would be so proud of me.
I am. I'm thrilled for you. So what? Share with the world, girl. What are you doing?
Oh, well, I think everybody has their own, it's all individual. For me, it really is a sense of security, you know? And then someone said to me, I won't say who it is, but he knows who he is. It's like, well, if, I could stay over. I'm like, that's not, no. No,
I'm good.
that's not the problem. No, that's not gonna work. So for me, it's been a few things, and it's been a lot of things, but one of them is I stopped wearing my watch. I don't wear it to sleep. But what I realize is during the day when I'm looking at my steps and I didn't accomplish my steps, I didn't whatever, or my heart rate or whatever, and having that anxiety added to my going to sleep at night feeling sad that I didn't accomplish whatever workout goal I thought I was supposed to have that day. I know it sounds weird, but it's all these little tiny things.
I think that
I'm going to say this this is going to sound really bad, but I do feel unsafe. And that's been my entire life because I always sleep with one eye open. It's just the way I grew up. So dealing with that means having weaponry around my house.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we're going to have to talk about your weaponry offline. But
No. So that's why I put it that way. I know that sounds weird, but feeling like, and I'm not advocating anybody else. That's why I'm saying it's like, what can I do to make myself feel safe? Well, part of it is I know it's a habit from growing up, but it doesn't matter. It is what it is. So what are the worst case scenarios? What are the worst case scenarios that can happen? So how do I fix that? If I think somebody's going to come while I'm sleeping, is there something I can have in my secret compartment in my bedroom that will hurt that person? You know what I mean? Right. I know it's stupid, but
it's not stupid.
I know, but it's working. So don't even try to come in my house, bitch. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
That's the moral of this story.
That's the moral of this story, baby. No. Also, just other things like not drinking water after 8 o'clock at night, making sure I drink all my water before 8 o'clock so that when I go to bed at 9:30, 10 o'clock, I do go to bed early because I get up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. But I'm not getting up to go to the bathroom, which I think was the other part of it too, was it's not just that everything wakes me up. It's that I then have to go to the bathroom, 3, 4 times during the night. That didn't help either. Blackout curtains. I've always had them, but I didn't have the great ones. I didn't have the good ones. Having the place really dark. So it's just been a constant changing of so many habits. And then you had mentioned something, and this made me feel better. I had said to you, I always fall asleep on the couch when I'm watching TV. I was like, I wish I could have a TV in my room. somewhere along the way, I made it against the rules for me to have it. And you were like, get a fucking TV in your room. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like there's all this thing. So I didn't get a TV in my room. I didn't do it because I don't want to buy another TV, but I do have a, I don't know what they're called. It's a sound, those little sound system box. Let me just show you what it is. One of these. And then it's a sound box and it takes the sound from the TV. And then you could put it anywhere in your home to like work out or whatever. So you don't have to put the TV on really loud. So I just put this in my bedroom now.
I've never even heard of that.
Really? But you can be on the phone and stuff too. It's a speaker. It's
just like a
portable speaker.
Okay.
I call it a sound system.
I was like, a sound box. That's a speaker. We'll be talking about language later.
No, but I mean, it's a speaker, but it's not just a speaker because you can bring it to, like, I always think of a speaker, you have to plug it in and keep it I'm thinking old school. You know what I mean? I'm Gen X. What can I say?
Yeah.
But yes, we will be talking about language later today. How are you doing? Are you doing good this morning?
I am doing really, really great overall this week. Why, you might ask? Because my children have gone back to school.
It is the little things, right? Yay.
I love those people. They are my favorite people in the world. I absolutely love spending time with them. 3 weeks at home was too long.
Wow, was it 3 weeks?
It was 3 weeks. I think that's kind of the standard these days. And, as you know, it rained quite a bit during that time. So we were all in the house together for a long time. My husband was off for 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah. It's too
We
much.
had guests for like a week. Again, love them. Happy they were here. But I am accustomed to being alone for most of the day. And, I'm already a pretty big bitch. And like...
Would you stop that?
My last weekend, it was off the charts. Like, I would wake up and just be like...
Right.
Don't talk to me. Don't ask me for anything. No, I'm not cooking for you. I don't care if you're bored. Shut the fuck up.
You know what? You have this body. I don't think you're a bitch at all.
Okay, well, you don't live with me. So.
Well, it's very true. It's very true. But no, I think it's funny because everyone thinks I'm the hardcore whatever person when it comes. And it's always like, it's you, Cynthia. And I'm like, yeah, I'm probably the most easygoing person out of all my friends, but I'm the one labeled with it. But it's okay. It's okay. Well, I'm glad you're doing good. Can I share a video so we could start our conversation?
Absolutely. Yes.
Let me just also say this, that it's really hard to be happy and joyful and positive during this time period. It really is. And so when you have it, really embrace it.
Yeah. Recognize it, call it out, talk about it. Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I'm kind of so happy about the sleeping thing. And then, of course, I had to watch the news today and I was like, okay. So let me share. This is from Pod Save America.
That woman is part of a broader left-wing network to attack, to dox, to assault, and to make it impossible for our ICE officers to do their job. Everybody who's been repeating the lie that this is some innocent woman who was out for a drive in Minneapolis when a law enforcement officer shot at her, you should be ashamed of yourself. This is classic terrorism. You guys are meant to report the truth. How have you let yourself become agents of propaganda of a radical fringe that's making it harder for us to enforce our laws? She tried to run somebody over with her car, and the guy defended himself when that happened. Next question. There's a part of me that feels very, very sad for this woman, not just because she lost her life, but because I think she is a victim of left-wing ideology. I would appreciate everybody saying a prayer for that agent. He deserves a debt of gratitude, and I think the media prejudging and talking about this guy as if he's a murderer is one of the most disgraceful things I've ever seen from the American media.
He deserves a debt of gratitude, a man who no one disputes, shot a woman 3 times, twice at close range. Keep in mind, earlier on Thursday, Vance tweeted that Renee Good was a, quote, deranged leftist. Just imagine what J.D. Vance would have said or done about a Democratic politician who called Charlie Kirk deranged the day after he was assassinated.
In the 10 years since Trump came down the escalator, that might be the most angry, infuriated, and disgusted I've been at something a Trump official, including Donald Trump himself, has done or said. J.D. Vance is disgusting. He lies with such ease, with such little compunction. He is unburdened by decency, morality, shame. He does it with confidence and arrogance. And even more infuriatingly, he does it well. He can make any argument sound clever, at least on the surface. Just to have such little humanity after someone was killed.
Not a lot shocks me. I am shocked by just how the administration has handled this. They could have so easily been like, we have our own opinions. We think that it was self-defense, but we'll let the investigation play out. But they're like doubling and tripling down, which I guess is what they do. But I also think it's a signal to everyone that like, we're going to do whatever the fuck we want. We have the guns, we have the legal system, and the rest of you can fuck off.
So I thought I would share that because I thought it was an interesting segue into what we're going to talk about today regarding language. And I actually think J.D. Vance is a much scarier issue than Donald Trump any day of the week. This morning, as we are coming onto air, Donald Trump last night, I guess, threatened to use the Insurrection Act, which basically means allowing the U.S. military to come into the streets of Minneapolis, and the military is not allowed to go against American citizens, but that's what the Insurrection Act would allow the president to do. So yeah, I thought I would just share. If people don't know who Pod Save America is, I'll just tell you right now that that gentleman, John Favreau, was the speechwriter for Barack Obama. I don't care if you like Barack Obama or not, but every time he spoke, that man had something to do with his speech. Brilliant, brilliant individual. So, but anyways, thoughts?
Well, I agree with you that I think J.D. Vance is much scarier for all kinds of reasons than Donald Trump. I mean, as much as, you know, we will all be popping the champagne and dancing in the streets the day it happens, we do have to think about the 15 seconds later when J.D. Vance becomes president, if God willing it happens soon.
Okay. And what you mean by that is Donald Trump decides to resign for health reasons. That's exactly what you mean.
Anyway, but yeah, he is a much, much scarier individual. Like I said, for all kinds of reasons, including the people who back him, support him. I'm hesitant to say smarter, but he is certainly smarter than Donald Trump. I agree that he knows how to use language. He's less, I don't know, charismatic is the word that's coming up. I don't know that that's the right word, but I don't think he would have the legion of followers and, you know, the cult-like following that Donald Trump has. But they have put things in place at this point such that he could very easily take over and you know, be much more of a dictator than even Donald Trump is. So I do think that's something that we need to look out for sure.
Absolutely. I want to talk about the language thing because, so I didn't mention one of the people that I read on a regular basis because he wasn't part of that group. So there's Pod Save America. There are all these different things we talked about last week, but Professor Eddie Glaude is someone that I revere. I talked about him on Friday Night Live as well. I just think he's an incredible writer and human being, and he follows us on Substack, which shook me. And so every Friday he delivers a summary of what's going on during the week, but it's not a newscast. It's really what he feels is going on. And he always embeds in there things that we can learn about who we are historically, and it's just an interesting read on a Friday, and that's what I usually do. But on Monday, which was a very important day for me, he threw in a George Orwell essay that I had never read, but you've read it before. And the name of it is, see, I thought I was all prepared and everything. Hold on one second. Politics and the English Language. And it was written in 1946, okay? So we're right at World War II, right? 1940,
right at the end.
Right at the end of
World War II. 45.
Right. And so he's writing this piece and it's all about language. So do you want me to do a summary, or go ahead, Andrea? I know you've read it a long time ago, and I sent it to Andrea thinking I was like sharing something new and shit. And she's like, oh yeah, I read this and I did a thesis on it and I know everything about it. Go ahead.
No, I don't know everything about it. I remember reading this in a writing class that I took in undergrad. I don't remember who the professor was. I don't remember the context of the writing class. I remember, as you said, it being very dense.
Really hard to read. It's
really hard to read. You have to read it a couple of times at least to really grasp what he's saying. And it's also very like prescriptive. Like he's really telling you what to do. Yeah. So I don't know what the context of him writing it was. Was he just like throwing it out there? Or was, I don't know. But anyways, but I do a lot of writing for work and always have. And I think about the concepts in that essay every single day. Every single day, I think about the concepts in that essay. It's really important. And I think, to sort of bring it back to what we're talking about, it's really about how people of all kinds, and I'll kind of talk about who those people might be, use language to guide the way you think about things, right? And so specifically, I think what I would say is media, definitely law enforcement, politicians, even academia, right? They all use language in a certain way, quite often to hide the truth, hide the actual meaning, hide what it is they are trying to say, because they want you to believe a certain thing. They want you to, and maybe they're not straight out lying. Oftentimes they're not straight out lying. They're using language to make you think a certain thing or to imply a certain thing.
Or to confuse you so that you don't know. So I'm going to read what I wrote under the essay because, again, there are little things in my life that make me happy, but Professor Eddie Glad also said spot on to what I wrote. And he doesn't normally... Anyways, these are the little things in my life that make me happy. Okay. So this is what I wrote underneath. So he wrote his introduction and then he put the entire essay for everyone to read it. And then I wrote in the comment section along with other people, but I wrote, I'm going to share something I probably shouldn't, but I can't stop laughing. Today's my birthday, and I was so excited to see your post today. Oh no, until I started reading. This is a dense, hard read for me, but after 2 reads, real slow, I think I get it. You're warning us that Orwell said back then is the same today. Political language that is vague, inflated, and dishonest is not by accident. It helps politicians hide the truth and avoid responsibility. This is how they manipulate the public. I don't know if I need to read. When writers rely on cliches and abstract phrases, they stop thinking clearly. And that, and that fog spreads to everyone who reads or hears them. Clear language forces clear thought, and clear thought is essential for a healthy democracy. So while we can't fix it all overnight, each one of us can resist by choosing simple, concrete, honest words instead of ready-made phrases that numb the mind and disguise reality. And there's a part where he says something like, how can you fix fascism if you don't know what fascism means? And that's kind of the crux of it.
I thought that was such a fantastic summary, by the way.
Oh, thank you so much.
A+, Carmen.
Thank you. Well, here's the thing too. I think that, so I want to tie it back into why Donald Trump actually works for so many people. Because for so long, I think our education system has not given us the ability to understand everything that's going on. And I was thinking about this the other day. I don't remember ever in high school or in college, but definitely not in high school, reading the Constitution. I remember the Pledge of Allegiance. I remember having to do that in the mornings when we were younger. I do not remember us reading or understanding the Constitution and knowing what our rights are. And I'm like, was that by design? Like, and I'm not, I am not the suspicious whatever thing, but it's kind of that same thing. So when you start hearing about politics, why is it so many Americans don't vote? Why is it so many Americans don't take to heart what's going on in their local and state and federal government? It's because we don't know. We don't understand it. It feels confusing. So here comes Donald Trump, who talks like us. By the way, he doesn't talk like us. He does not. He is very simple. He doesn't have vocabulary. He doesn't have a sense of logic. This isn't just now. But as Americans, because we're not nuanced enough, and I'm saying all of us, I'm not going to take that. A lot of people gravitated towards this he talks like us thing, but actually he doesn't talk like you. He manipulated you because you did not know, because we were not taught. Is that a fair enough assessment?
I think it's pretty fair. I'm always a little reluctant to release people from responsibility, like you did not know. But I think you're right. I mean, we've talked about this before. We as a country have not prioritized educating people. Certainly, we haven't prioritized civics, understanding our government, understanding the Constitution, all of those kinds of things. I mean, in their senior year, I think in all across the United States, students take one semester of government. They take one semester of government and one semester of econ. I know this how, because my daughter just finished her one semester of government.
Yeah. Econ is economics for those who don't know.
And well, actually, she's just starting. She did econ, but the curriculum is not hey, let's dive in and read the Constitution. It's like, we have 3 branches of government, and the kinds of things I would think that you should already know at that point. These are people who are going to be 18 or already are.
Right.
They're ready to vote.
It's even things like we don't teach kids. I wasn't taught how to balance a checkbook. We don't, there's so many things we don't do to prepare our society to be smart. And that's by design. Oh my God, I don't do conspiracy theories, but now I'm like, I have always been who I am, curious. I've always been this kid, curious. I mean, I'm not a kid anymore, but you understand what I'm trying to say, like curious, wanting to understand, and always shut down. I remember going to Catholic school and asking questions in religion, because we were really taught just religion, English, and some math, right? Like whatever. I sucked at the math part, but I remember asking a question about religion, why it didn't make sense, right? Just asking, this isn't a diss on religion, just a kid asking a question and being shut down. Basically, it is what it is. And you just take it in.
Yeah. Don't ask any more questions about it.
And that's kind of, I think, what we do too. So I think language, now because we do have the ability to I know this is, I'm a big Eddie Glaude fan, no doubt about it, but the ability to even be able to read his stuff from him and hear him every week, it changes the dynamic, right? You can hear him and I can understand what he's saying easier than when he's writing it. And then when he writes it or he shares something that's really hard, I'm now curious and allowed to be like, well, I like him as a writer. Now I want to understand why because I admire him, understand this. And then I fight to understand it. That's how it should be. That's how it should be in all of our classrooms.
Yeah, I think you've hit on something really important. That curiosity is stifled at best, if not completely stamped out in children. And there are multiple reasons for it, right? Teachers have a lot on their plates. They have a lot of kids in their classrooms. They don't have all the resources and support. The curriculum is, in some cases, in a lot of cases, most cases, dictated to them. I mean, there are all kinds of reasons for that, but it's like you have to have a really special teacher to actually, honor that creativity and allow you to follow it. Like, that's the special case.
But I think even because we all have our special teachers, right? I mean, Alice McIntyre, who I'm still in touch with, was my 7th grade teacher, was my saving grace. She didn't just help me, she helped many, but that was also, it shouldn't be that. It was so burdensome to her. You know what I mean? To have to be that teacher like that for too many kids. And she can't save everyone. And it shouldn't be that kind of job. So you're absolutely right. But I want to go back to the language thing too, because I feel like I am not trying to absolve responsibility of people who made choices that were not in their best interest or in the interest of their neighbors. It pisses me off more that they don't have compassion or understand that this is exactly what was written down in that, what was it?
2025.
2025.
This
Project
is exactly what you
2025.
voted for. All the people like, I didn't vote for this. You absolutely did.
This is what you voted for. It's in there. And we were screaming at you and telling you over and over again. But here we are. What I'm trying to say is there is a part of me that grew up always feeling like everything was my fault. I was too dumb. I didn't have the right FICO score. Whatever it is, right? Like everything was my fault. I didn't work hard enough. Are you fucking kidding me? And that one was probably the biggest one, that I was never enough. And it wasn't till later in life that I started understanding that everything is not my fault. Everything is not my fault. I don't have control over why people are racist towards me and won't give me a fucking loan, even though I have a 750 credit score, whatever, and I have income or whatever. I can't fight people who are like, Garaming Suarez is not going to get it. Yeah, I don't have control over how that works. I can't force the bank to be like, no, my name is Mary O'Donnell or whatever. And clients that I've worked for who've had worse income, worse FICO scores or whatever, and they can get, loans, no big deal. I don't know what that's about. So I'm not absolving people. What I'm saying is, for the most part, I don't care what it takes for you to realize it, but this is what's happening. Language is being used to manipulate you on all ends, and it's been happening for a long time. And that's kind of the crux of that article is what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, what you wrote in your comment about, the importance of saying things clearly. Simply, right? I mean, look, the one that we all know, the classic example, officer-involved shooting. Right. The cops shot somebody.
Right.
We all know that one. It's technically true, but what are they actually saying? A police officer shot somebody. Will they ever say that? No. Why?
Right.
And that's the question. Why will they not say it that way?
Right.
Or suspect died at the scene. Oh, really? Did he have a heart attack?
Right.
Did he, was he bitten by a rabid squirrel? How did he die?
A rabid squirrel.
What are we not saying?
Right.
And why are we not saying it?
Right.
The really, really important part is simple and clear. And that's what I was always taught. And that's what I have to go back. This just happened to me yesterday. I was writing an email and I was like, what am I saying? We conducted an audit of blah, blah, blah. It's like, we audited this. You know what I mean? Why would I write it that way?
Well, in that piece, George Orwell, as he's writing, it says, and I know I'm doing this as I'm writing this piece. That's why it's so dense. It's like the irony of ironies is that if you're not careful of language, you start doing the same thing, which is what J.D. Vance is doing. Yes. Using words to manipulate what actually happened. And John Favreau, I don't know how to say his the guy who's on podcast, whatever, he says that. They could have easily just said, you know what, we're going to have investigation, go into it, blah, blah, blah. But instead, they're using this as a way in which to keep justifying why ICE is doing what they're doing. Stephen Miller, who I fucking hate with all of my heart and passion, because I think he's evil personified. I really do. Turned around and said that every ICE agent has what is it, federal immunity or something? I forget what it's called.
Yeah, I can't remember what he called it, but it was essentially like, do whatever the fuck you want, you're never going to be prosecuted.
He said that on television. I'm like, that's not how our country works, dude. That's
how they want it to work. And I think this is the thing. They say these kinds of things. Trump talked about just this morning. I read it was Reuters, so I think it's probably true. He said something about, I've accomplished so much. We don't even need to have another election. Right.
See, yeah.
Right. They're saying these things and everyone's like, oh, they're just racist. They're just jerks.
Or they're exaggerating.
They just say those things.
Right.
No, you have to believe what they are telling you because they are literally saying this is what we want. Right. We want a secret police force, an anonymous police force that you cannot penetrate. You don't know who they are. You can't see their faces. They're changing license plates on the cars that they're using to obscure themselves. We want them to have total immunity to bust into your homes, to pull you out of your cars, to send you to secret prisons, either in the United States or somewhere else. This is what they want.
And this is normal. By the way, they're normalizing it. That's what's happening right now. And this isn't, I'm telling you right now, on my mother's grave, I am not a conspiracy theory. I'm not someone who gets alarmed. This is what's happening right now, is we're normalizing ICE on the streets. Last night, ICE, there's 3,000 ICE agents. To put that in perspective, Minneapolis has 600 police officers.
Really?
They only have
I didn't know that number. Oh,
they have 600 police officers. I don't care what you believe. I don't care if you have always thought Trump was great or whatever. I really need people to start doing a reanalysis of who you are as an American.
Who you are as a human.
Yeah, but they're all into the rah-rah Americana thing. So I'm just saying, if what you believe is the ideals of being an American versus being a racist Nazi, I'm just saying, Andrea's head, I'm gonna do a little pop over. She's like, same thing. It's not. I feel like we're at a crossroads. We have been for a long time, but I think people are thrown by what's happening. They shouldn't be, but they are. Watching women getting cut out of cars and thrown to the ground. I think the visuals are painful for everyone.
People being, shot straight in the face, point blank with tear gas. I mean, just there are all kinds of things that we're seeing that if they were anywhere else, and I mean, we actually have this example right now. Mm-hmm. What's happening in Iran? What has happened in Iran, right? Yep. I mean, it's truthfully not as bad here as it has been there.
Oh, I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't want to say that.
Well,
I don't want to make it like it's okay here either.
No, it's not. But, they have not yet murdered, tens of thousands of people all at once. But
that we know of, because we don't have any information.
Yeah, exactly.
We're being held in ICE detention centers. I'm sorry.
No, don't be. Definitely correct me on that. I'm certainly no apologist for what they're doing. But, we're seeing that over there. And Trump's saying something like, well, we've got to protect those protesters for democracy. It's like, what are you even talking about? If we see it somewhere else, it's one thing, but when we see it happening in one of our cities, one of the great cities in this country, of which there are many, and you have community members, people who are activated, who would never have even thought about this before. And I will say, I have to give a shout out, because I have talked a lot of shit about men in general, and definitely white men. I know it's Minnesota and it's mostly white folks. I've seen a lot of white dudes out there.
Yep.
And my hat is off to those guys who are out there really trying to protect their communities, and you're activating a lot of people. And I think that I don't know if they're surprised by this, they meaning the administration. I don't know if they're surprised by what they're sort of awakening in people, but
this is what they want. I look at, I'm done giving them the benefit of the doubt. I don't think I was really ever doing that after the first year of his first administration. I don't even think I was doing that. I was just hoping for the best. You know what I mean? But I feel like what they want is, we're already in this authoritarian situation. And that's another buzzword that people don't know what it means.
Yeah.
So basically, authoritarian is the umbrella, and fascism is one of the legs of it, right? So authoritarian is the idea of a small group or one person taking over, and we don't have any say as a people. Fascism is that, plus the ideology. So the belief that only white people should exist. That's Nazism. I hope I'm explaining it in the simple way that I understand it. But it's a buzzword. And again, they're words that people don't, because we weren't taught them, so we don't know them. And then when you hear Nazi, people are like, I'm not a Nazi and Trump is not a Nazi. And the behavior is so close. It's so close. And when you understand, again, it goes back to the article. If you don't know what fascism is, you can't fight against it. And them saying that they're not any of that doesn't make it true. You can see it with your own eyes, what they're doing. They're picking up brown and black people, right? Latino people, whether they're citizens or not, whether they have a judicial warrant or not, they're just taking them off the street. These are human beings. These are not gang members. These are people working at fucking Target, 17-year-olds. These are people who are landscapers. These are people who are farm workers. These are people waiting at Home Depot looking for work because they want to do the best that they can in this country. If we really cared about immigration, I say this over and over again, we would be going after the corporations, we'd be going after the businesses and the people that keep hiring people without paperwork. I'm sorry. I get so angry because to me, it's so logical. If you really wanted to deal with immigration, you wouldn't be going after the poor fucking people who traveled here at the risk of losing their lives, giving up everything from their own country to try to just have a better life because America at one point had the possibility of being that for them. Just like it was for Andrea's family, for my family, for every Irish fucking person here, Italian person, whatever. It doesn't matter. Unless you are somebody who is indigenous to this country, which most of you watching this are not. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm going to bring it back. This is what happens when I get 8 hours of sleep. Amen. I got 8 hours of sleep, bitch. I'm on fire.
This is what happens when Carmen gets a good night's sleep, everybody.
I'm sorry, but it's true.
No, it's true. I'm like, it's shocking to me, truly, in many cases. Why, like, if you look at how hard most immigrants, almost all immigrants, number one, worked to get here. Mm-hmm. Number two, worked to stay here.
Yes.
These are hardworking, massively contributing people in our communities. Why would you not want them here? Why would you not want them here?
And why would you believe, why would you believe they're stealing from you? I want you to show me. For every time I hear this, they're stealing, they're taking our whatever. I want you to name them and send me the information, because I don't think anybody who ever spews that shit knows one person who's actually doing any of that. They're just, again, language. You're being told stuff, you're repeating stuff, and you're not actually understanding the bullshittery that's happening.
Well, and a lot of times the people who are saying this are people like, they're stealing our jobs. Are you employed? You probably are.
I know, right?
It sounds to me then like your job did not get stolen. Shut the fuck up.
Right. And is the job that you're talking about the one on the farm? Because I think they need people right now. You know what I mean? Is it the construction job you're talking about? Because I think construction people need them because they're losing so many people because of this fear, you know? And look, I'm just going to end with this part. I love the idea that people think this is only going to happen to immigrants.
Right. Well,
that's not where it stops.
I mean, look, as we know, this type of law enforcement action, we'll call it, to use a euphemism, has been happening to Black and brown people, Black people probably more specifically, forever, since the beginning of this country, you know, and on and on and on and on. This is not new to people whose skin is darker than mine. Let's put it that way, right? The fact that this happened, you know, the shooting last week, Renee Good, you know, this is a white lady in a white city, really, you know, and it was, you know, it's one of those things that activates people because it's all of a sudden like, it's happening to us. It's happening, you know, how can this be happening? And it's like, well, this has been happening.
This has been happening. And this is the trajectory. The trajectory is now going to
now it's happening to
white people.
Yeah.
And look at authoritarian governments. What they want is control and power. You know, I'm always going to say it's a fake power because to me, that's not real power, but it's still power, you know, because right now we're all living under it. And that power gets activated even more when people fight against it. And if people cower down to it, then they keep having the power. Do you know, like, I'm not saying it well enough, but it's like, we have to fight this if we want our country to be the country it's supposed to be, that we dream of, that we want. Because right now what's happening is Trump and his minions and JD Vance and Stephen fucking Miller are making sure that they're going to have the government they want, and they're going to do things. Look at Trump said it last night. I forget what the verbiage was, but this whole idea of like, we don't have to have another election. He's accomplished so much is what he said. That is part of the wording. That's what he's doing. He wants to put it in your head that we don't need to have any more elections now. He's got this. It's all set. That's not who we are. That's not who we want to be. And it's going to get worse before it gets better. And we need people, we need courage. We need courage right now. You know, not last night, but yesterday, the Senate tried to put guardrails on him regarding Venezuela. So the Democrats in the Senate proposed this, I don't know if it was a bill or whatever, but they're like, they wanted to put guardrails on him and they had to do a vote. And 5 Republicans crossed over to vote for it. And then when they did the vote, 2 of them, of course, cowered out because the White House went to them and negotiated with them. And so it failed because JD Vance came in and did the tie-breaking vote. Okay? So now Trump still can do whatever he wants in Venezuela without Congress having anything to do with it. Do you understand that Congress actually has more power than the president? And they're not using it to stop him.
They're supposed to have more power than the president.
Right, but they're not using it. They're scared and they're not using it to stop him. Congress has the ability to fix this, to say, hey, President Trump, if you want to go into Venezuela, we'd like to hear the argument for it first because we're here as the checks and balance. It's happening. You need to be aware. It's happening.
People, wake up.
Yeah. I'm specifically talking to Trump people. Wake up. Come on. This is not what you want. It's what you voted for. But I'm telling you, on my mama's grave, may she rest in sweet peace. This is not what you want. This is not what you want. So, all right. On that note, thank you, Andrea, for letting me vent and scream and yell and whatever. But, thank you. Wait, did you disagree with anything I said? Is that why you?
No, not at all. You know, I don't. Jesus, I'm open borders over here. You know what I mean? I'm like, we don't need a homeland security. We don't need any of that. Just let them come in.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I agree. Look, we're not even there to have that conversation.
Yeah.
And that's where you and I are probably a little bit different, but I don't know why we're so hateful of people in general who want a better life. I think that's a compliment that people wanted to come to the United States, you know? But
yeah. It's sort of like outside of my realm of understanding as well. Like I said, like, why would you not want someone like that as your neighbor in your community?
I know. Can I ask you this question? What do you think's going to happen? I know. Do you have hope? Because if you have hope, I always have hope and faith, right? But
I know you don't believe this. I am generally an optimistic person.
I don't not believe that.
I do have hope, but I also think that it's going to get really, really bad first.
I do too.
And when I say really bad, like, none of us even really alive right now have any understanding of what that looks like to have essentially a war in our country.
Yeah.
Minneapolis is experiencing that right now. What it looks like essentially to have an occupying force. We got a little bit here in LA.
That wording.
And I think that we're going to see more of that. And
I agree with you. I think it's going to get worse before. I don't know
when it gets better.
I don't know either. The only thing I'm going to say over and over again is that we need to vote. I don't care how intimidating it's going to get, because they're going to do everything in their power to make sure that we don't vote or that our votes don't get counted. You have to still vote. Figure it out. Make sure that's all you do. We need to put more Democrats in office. We just have to. That is the only answer right now. And that's the only power we really have. And hopefully, Mark Elias and Joyce Vance were talking today on their podcast about where are the lawyers? Where are the corporations? Where are all the big leaders? And it's always going to be the grassroots people that fight this, but they're saying where are they? And they're two lawyers. If you don't know who they are, they're two big time lawyers, and they're saying they're fighting with everything they can, but the big time law firms are nowhere to be found because they've all capitulated, right? Just like the schools and whatever, the colleges or whatever. So we're in this fight. If we want our country, we need to know what's going on, understand the languaging, be open-minded, and
Well, and I think it, like you said, you definitely have to vote. And I think, look, I get into my funks too, where it's what good is my vote going to do? Are they even going to seat? What is it going to look like? Will they even be able to take their seats in 27 if they're elected in 26? I mean, there's all kinds of concerns and worries and all of that. You still have to do it.
You have to do it.
You have to get 17 friends and family members to go and vote too.
Convince them to, right?
Yeah, it's
the only thing we can do right now. That's the only thing we can do right now is make sure that we vote in this upcoming election for Congress so that we can take back this. We have a chance to take back the Senate too, which is amazing. And definitely try to take back the House. It looks like we're going to be able to take back the House. Everything else that happens after that, that's different. Our job is to make sure we vote and vote Democrat. And you know what? And Jay, you know me. I never tell people how to vote. I don't.
Yeah.
Because I used to be very listening to conservatives and Republicans could understand, blah, blah. But now I'm no, we done. We need to get back on track. So anyways. All right, everyone. I hope you all have a great night's sleep because it's changed who I is and everything. You know what's so funny? I have energy when I'm only sleeping 4 hours a night, but now I'm just kidding. Be scared. All right,
that's another thing we can do. Get a good night's sleep.
Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for stopping by. And remember, at the end of the day, it really is all about the joy. Bye, everyone. Bye. Thanks for stopping by. All about the joy. Be better and stay beautiful, folks. Have a sweet day.